Please do not vote for the following incumbents on November 5th. Board of Selectmen, Perez, Clausen, Renzullo. Board of Education, Dutton, Royer, and Shaughnessy. If you love accountability, vote them out. Vote them out. Let's return to civility. Vote them out. Vote them out. It'll make the Democrats very sad. Vote them out. Vote them out. But it will make our lenders very glad. Vote them out. Vote them out. They want to avoid accepting responsibility. Vote them out. Vote them out. That's always been their big fallacy. Vote them out. Vote them out. They want to remove our civil liberties. Vote them out. Vote them out. As they have been doing recently. Vote them out. Vote them out. The charter doesn't seem to matter at all. Vote them out. Vote them out. They nobble the press out in the hall. Vote them out. Vote them out. There's one thing that I must confess. Vote them out. Vote them out. For 10 or more years we have regressed. Vote them out. Vote them out. With the financial advisors they did sit. Vote them out. Vote them out. But then they did just the opposite. Vote them out. Vote them out. Their plans were hidden from us all. Vote them out. Vote them out. That helped to expedite their fall. Vote them out. Vote them out. Show these Democrats, Dutton and Royer, their fallacy. Vote them out. Vote them out. They don't think that we can see. Vote them out. Vote them out. For leading one needs common sense. Vote them out. Vote them out. They don't have the right accoutrements. Vote them out. Vote them out. The town badly needs much better schools. Vote them out. Vote them out. And efficient spending never rules. Vote them out. Vote them out. So if you love your Winsted town, vote them out. Vote them out. Then we all need to knuckle down. Vote them out. Vote them out. 10 years or more of retrogression isn't good. Vote them out. Vote them out. That we need new leaders is well understood. Vote them out. Vote them out. Please do not vote for any of the following on Tuesday, November 5th. For Selectmen, Perez, Clausen, and Renzullo. For the Board of Education, Dutton, Royer, and Shaughnessy. We can do better. Vote them out.
Hello, this is Brian O'Hearn speaking. It's going to be an interesting program tonight. When I was a child, my mother told me, Brian, it's very difficult to tell people the truth. And when she used to scold me, she would tell me the truth, and then she would say, there, and I'm glad I said it. So here it is tonight, and I'm glad I'm saying it. One time when Candy Perez asked for some feedback at one of the selectmen meetings, I sent her an email with some feedback, and in the beginning I said that she was the worst thing that ever happened to this town and the worst thing that ever happened to the lake. And I still believe that. She sent me a note back saying, why did you start out with such negative when you're trying to get help from me? Similar to something like that, I'm paraphrasing. But anyway, have you ever been to Juarez? Juarez is in Mexico. Not the nicest town in the world. I don't think anyway. I've been there many times. It's south of Houston. Let's not let Perez, Selectman Perez, turn the town into another Juarez. "12 years of Candy Perez are enough. The revenue's been flat over the last 10 years or more. The town is on the verge of bankruptcy, going bankrupt. May never go bankrupt, but it's going to be a rough ride here, as you know from all these programs that are on. Just keep watching James Roberts. He's on twice a week. Also on the internet if you can catch him on YouTube. Expenses, they're up over the 10 years. They keep going up, mainly on the school side, which is about 59% of our budget or so. We're facing a 6 to 8 mil plus tax increase. I say plus because we've got a regular things to do as well as make up for the sins of the past that you've been hearing about and reading on in the national press. There was a Wall Street Journal article. It's be on CNN. They say now it's going to be on Fox News, an interview with the town manager. I haven't seen that yet, but that's coming up. Keep your eyes open. Plus water and sewer increases. The state suggested we raise the water and sewer by 70%. We've already done 22 and 32% or so. So all you water and sewer users should be quaking in your boots. They're on the way. All those expenses, taxes, one way or another, are on the way. Home prices in our town are headed for a further decline. They went down roughly an average of 20% in the last revaluation, and my guess is that they're going to go down again for the next revaluation unless something drastic happens. Jobs? There are no jobs. There are jobs for people who really want a job. I always tell people, if you want a job, you can get a job. You can work at McDonald's. You can work at Walmart. These are all the names you don't like to hear, of course. They're minimum wage jobs. You can work at a lot of places. There are signs up. Matter of fact, I saw a sign on the way to Hartford for one of the factories looking for machinists and people that are good in that field. So there are jobs around. When people stop and say to me, Brian, I put out 128 resumes, I can't find a job, nobody wants us, I say, are you willing to move out of town? Go out around the world or out around the United States? And they say, oh no, not willing to do that. My wife doesn't want to move. Our grandchildren are here. All our relatives are here, etc. So we have to bring jobs to our town. That's one of the first things we need to do. And I've mentioned on other programs that that a lot of people say we got to really improve our schools, new school, better test grades and all that before anything can happen in our town. I think just the opposite. I think you got to work on the schools, of course, but you need to get industry into town. You need to get jobs into town. You need to get more additional recurring profitable tax revenue from things like senior housing and bigger over 55 type housing where there are less children to come into the schools. We had one person who wanted to build an Alzheimer's rest home up by the Child Hungerford Hospital property, not their property, but where they have their health center here, and that got all goofed up. We've goofed up many, many things over the years. Therefore, this is a tough town. And anybody with any kind of advanced training in college or any kind of a degree or anything like that, they head out of town, like I said on previous programs. There aren't too many jobs here for people like that. And this is a tough town for an entrepreneur like myself. Very, very tough time. I probably would never invest in this town. I invest all over the world now, but not in Winsted. except for paying atrocious taxes every year, which I know I'm going to have to pay. I signed up for and I'm willing to pay, but also I want to make sure the money is spent in a responsible manner. Please do not re-elect Selectman Perez. 12 years is enough. She's the leader of this group. What they're trying to do is stifle growth in our town to protect the watershed all over town. Everything's a watershed in our town. We got rivers, we got lakes all over the place, and she's the head of that. She does it quietly and secretly behind the scenes. She has a hidden agenda for our town that you don't know about, and I'll guarantee you it's not going to be good for you. It's not going to be good for businesses. It's not going to be good for developments. It's not going to be good for people in need. It's not going to be good for anybody. So I say, let's not re-elect Perez. Let's have a change now. Let's get some new blood in. And her amigos. Now, Selectman Fracasso used an old Sicilian term, Italian term that I was very familiar with from my childhood called pares or something like that. We used to do that all the time. Hey, Goomba, hey, Goomba. That meant friend when we were kids in Torrington and Winsted and all these areas. It was not a derogatory term. And I don't mean amigos here as a derogatory term, but she and her amigos, friends, Clausen and Renzulo, are killing us. They're killing the town. They've been doing it for 10, 12 years, maybe more. George has been involved in planning and zoning for many years, and he's been 4 years in as a selectman. He's loaded all the commissions and committees with Candy Perez and their amigos. And it's going to be a long, long time, as I said on previous programs, before we can really see the light of day here, probably 10 to 20 years. So we got a long way to go, because even though we eliminate these people, all the damage that they did will take years to rectify, many years. We don't want to be like Juarez. For all of you who've been to Juarez and know what it's like, they're all trying to get out of there and cross the border into America. And we want to make sure that we stop people from wanting to leave Winsted and not come to Winsted. We want people to come to Winsted. We don't want good people to leave Winsted. We don't want to be just a bedroom community for Hartford or somewhere that takes 3 hours to get to in the morning and you're taking your life in your hands when you drive there. We don't want that. We want to grow responsibly, and I don't think we can be like Great Barrington. I go there many times with my wife trying to figure out how they think we're going to get to be a Great Barrington. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we might be able to do some things like they do, but we can't be a carbon copy of Great Barrington. We need a clean slate here. Everybody in town's telling me. They stop me on the street, they send me notes, they leave things in my mailbox. It's unbelievable how much feedback I get about the programs and about other people's programs and about the selectmen meetings and about all the shenanigans going on with the boards and commissions in the town. Very obvious to people. This is not hidden, this stuff. It's very out in the open and obvious. So we need a clean slate for the Board of Selectmen, please. Don't vote any incumbents in on November 5th. Take your chance with the new people that are all pretty well educated, very intelligent, want to help, want to listen to other people. One of the biggest problems of Candy Perez, Clausen, especially, they don't listen to anybody. They got their own agenda. They don't want anybody to know what it is, because that might retard their ability to carry it out, which I'm sure it will. But the Jack in Box is out now. Pandora's out of the box, so to speak. Everybody knows what shape we are here all over the world, thanks to the internet and the major newspapers that are reporting on this quite erroneously, I think, because although the missing money is very, very sad and shouldn't have happened, the selectmen should not have let it happen over the years. I just saw a report in the paper where Candy Perez said, how could we have done anything about it? We couldn't do anything about it. Well, there are many ways you can do something about it, and anybody who's ever got an MBA, and there are plenty of them in the Democratic Party, the more conservative part of the Democratic Party, which can't get a word in edgewise, who know they learn it when they go for their MBA. They learn how to set up checks and balances and how to make sure that everybody has a function and they all work together and nobody can get away with any mischief. So it's their fault. Don't let them blame it all on Henry Centrella or anything like that. So clean slate, Board of Selectmen, please. Now, also, don't let Dutton, Dr. Dutton, he's on the Board of Education, he's been here for 8 years. Don't let Dr. Dutton and his fellow gluttons, I call them gluttons on the Board of Education, and the leaders in the school system, because they always want more all the time. They never say they want less. Now, I do think Gilbert is making some strides forward. They've increased the test scores for the 7th and 8th grades that we pushed up there to Gilbert to soak up a lot of their overhead. We were supposed to save big money doing it. We didn't save a penny in the end. The cost of education at Gilbert is cheaper, but we didn't save the $1.5 to $2 million that we always thought we were going to save and could use for other things in our system or in our town. So don't let Doc Dutton and his fellow gluttons turn our schools even more into mutton. We don't need that. We want to improve our schools. We want to manage them in a balanced manner. We want to make sure every penny we spend goes in the right direction, and we start to get some proof in our test scores. K through 6, as far as I know, pre-K through 6, I guess, I can't tell exactly which one, is in the bottom 30% of the state in school test scores. That's not too good, is it? I think that's pretty bad. So don't let them turn our schools even more into mutton. The school costs are up, mainly in the area of administration costs. Bus costs are expensive. It's $1 million a year or something like that, maybe more. And we have more schools than we really need if we set our mind to it. We got too many superintendents, probably too many principals across the whole system. We've got too many computer systems that we could be sharing with the town and integrating with the town, all kinds of things like that. So what you read in the paper, a lot of that is what I call union propaganda, school leader propaganda. They think the answer to everything in school is more money. And I say balance is probably a little better. If every kid in school had a job at nights and weekends, or at least on the weekends, or even if it's just raking leaves to try to earn a penny, and if they had to fill out a W-2 each year, then they would learn a heck of a lot more than just going to school. Now, school is very important. Don't misquote me. I went through school all through college, but got to a point where I finally said I have to get out and earn a living for the future of my family and their families. So I did do that. I worked my way through school. I still contend, and I argue with people at the university every day, that it still can be done. Test scores are down, as I said. I think Gilbert's starting to make a little improvement, but overall, we're not getting our money's worth in the test scores. So, 8 years of Dr. Dutton, 8 years of Chris Royer, 4 years of Shaughnessy, and nothing to show for it. Nothing. We haven't even probably stayed even. We've probably gone backwards here. Now, you can read all their propaganda, but you can't believe any of it. It's like when I used to go behind the Iron Curtain and I read Izvestia, the Russian newspaper when they were communists. Couldn't believe a word in it. It was all propaganda. All propaganda. So you had to get an underground paper one way or another to get the truth on anything. So I'm trying to help you here to understand that you got to look at all sides of the story, which is not easy here because all the newspapers last time around backed these people. I don't think that might not happen this time, but it did happen last time. And if you believe them, then shame on you. So 8 years, and 4 years are enough. We've had enough. I would not vote for any more for the incumbents that are running for the Board of Education, and that's Dutton, Royer, and Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy's a little less to blame, but he has to follow the Democratic Party line, and the Democratic Party line is very, very much school-related because two of the major school leaders in town are on the Board of Selectmen now. One of them is stepping down, the other one should not be reelected. So I think that's enough. Let's have a clean slate for the Board of Education, please. You'll be glad that you did once it's over and you begin to see improvements, but the improvements will be a long way off. Now, if you don't, if you vote for these incumbents and get them back in, my guess is that the improvements will be even longer off, farther off. Because we advised you, the fiscal conservatives in all parties and all parts of the town, not to vote for the last two budgets, but to face the problems then. Begin to manage costs back, etc. But you voted for the budgets. They were bad budgets, as we told you. You voted for them anyway. So a lot of the responsibility for the pickle we're in does rely with you, the voters. And you have a chance now to begin to turn the corner. And the way you turn the corner is not the way the Democrats want to turn the corner, but the way we're suggesting to you as fiscal conservatives that you turn the corner. First, you start getting rid of the people that made all the decisions over the last 10 years. Now, the two Republicans have stepped down. They admitted that as part of their culpability. We have two of the Democrats stepped down, and now you have three still running, and then you have two other Democrats running, which I wouldn't vote for. One of them because she has a past that disturbs me a bit, and the other one I don't know, and she must vote the party line anyway, so I don't like people that have to vote the party line. Now, I always tell people that when I went to Kansas University, I was rushed by a fraternity. I said, okay, I'll come and have a look at your fraternity. They needed the money to keep the place running, of course. And they said, we're having a party on Saturday. And I said, well, how about if I bring Sally, my friend? They said, oh, no, you can't bring Sally. And I said, why can't I bring Sally? Oh, because she has gone out with somebody else in the fraternity. So I said, well, thank you very much. I'm not joining your fraternity. I don't want to be in any organization that tells me who I can and can't bring to the parties and dances. So thank you much. So you'll be glad you did elect these incumbents in. Once it's over, we can go in, a lot of MBAs from all parties and all disciplines and groups can go in and coach them. Right now, these incumbents don't even take advice from their own financial advisors and from the state and from everybody else, the auditors. They don't listen to any of them. Now, how can you be successful that way? That's like being a kid in training for a sport and never listening to the coaches and the people that are trying to help you learn the sport or the music or whatever it is you're trying to learn. So, no incumbents, please, on November 5th. No incumbents. Do not vote for any incumbents. You should know who the incumbents are. If not, just check and see. I've listed the names tonight. Try to avoid voting for them, and then vote for any of the new people, and then I will help by consulting to them, and not only consulting to them, but I will try, as I said on other programs, to convince some of the MBA type in the area, not just in the town, but in the area, MBA type fiscal conservative Democrats, like James Roberts, for example. I don't know if he's totally fiscally conservative, but he's definitely not an extremist on the liberal side as the people that are in office now on both the Board of Selectmen and Board of Education are. So there are other ones like him right here in town. Wayne Dove, for example, a fiscal conservative, MBA, who's been very successful in business. We've got many others in the area. I don't want to name all the names, but I'll contact all of them. I think we should contact business leaders as well, people who run businesses like Howmet and banks and things like that, and get them to help coach any new people we bring in and advise them on a consistent basis to help us get out of this pickle. Because I can tell you, the way we're going now, it's not going to work. There's no doubt about it. I've been talking to you all almost 10 years now after I studied the town for a book I'm collecting information for and will publish one day called Winsted, Connecticut, Ralph Nader's hometown. And recently I've been thinking of adding Winsted, Connecticut, Ralph Nader, and Henry Centrella's hometown. I think that'll increase my sales a little bit around the world. But I'm trying to get the message out to everybody here. I can only do so much. You can lead horses to water, but you can't make them drink. You can lead voters to the poll booths, but you can't tell them how to vote. You can coach them, you can suggest, but you can't twist their arm. You can't fill out their ballot for them. They've got to do it themselves. You can't even force them to go around and get the right balance of information before they vote. A lot of them are just too busy to do that. They don't even show up for the polls, most of them. I think, 35% of the people vote when that are eligible. They have a life to run. A lot of them don't have jobs. A lot of them don't have balanced families. A lot of them have all kinds of problems. This isn't number one on their priorities. So I'm asking everybody that watches this program to spread the word. Send it out. It'll be on the internet. Send the link out to anybody you want. Doesn't matter what party they're in or anything like that. But anybody that you think you can get the information out to so they hear both sides of the story, because they will not get that from the newspapers. They won't get it from the TV stations that are covering this, because those are being manipulated by our Democrats. They're in power everywhere at the state and the federal level, and they're on all in most of these newspapers and stations are all liberal anyway. So they have a lot of connections around. So you got to be very, very careful about that. And one of the reasons I started this program at the request of many people in town is to try to help people like James Roberts and the other fiscal conservatives, Fracasso, Albanesius, and everybody else, the Taxpayer Association, who I think is highly underestimated in this town. We need them as a check and balance. There's no doubt about that. The Independent Party kind of represents a lot of those taxpayers, not only Taxpayer Association people, but a lot of people in town who are in the Democratic Party, Republican Party, that want to see balance in our budgets and want to see more additional profitable recurring revenue obtained by growing the grand list in the profitable side. Profitable means getting more tax revenue in that you spend to service that tax revenue. Now, so there's one example I always use, although we're going to have plenty of children in the school system, no doubt about it, is if people come in that don't have kids in the school system, and they have $1 million houses or big businesses and pay a lot of money in personal property taxes, that's all profitable to the town. If you have any questions about that, see me. So we're getting towards the end. I want to say vote for the charter question. Vote no. Vote no for the charter question. You don't want to give these people any more power should they stumble into office again. You don't want to give them any more power than they have already, because they can't handle what they've got. They're the worst business people I've seen in a long time. I've been all over the world. I've reviewed businesses and helped troubleshoot businesses all over the world. With that, I say thank you. Vote no for